And we are here again. Unpopular Review Entertainment presents One Tree Hill. That's right, people. A group of white kids playing basketball in Tree Hill, Carolina. And we are fans. And we're going to talk about season in the wrestling world 2 today on Unpopular Review Entertainment One Tree Hill discussion show. I am Mike Knoxxx, as always, joined by, showing this side today, the lovely Captain Shaykespeare. How you doing, Captain?
I am doing very good. I'm excited to jump into this season. It was not really, if I could be honest, this was not one of my favorite seasons. I feel like it was just everything was all over the place. It was too much, and it was dragging on. I felt like it was dragging on at some points. That's just me.
Well, we talked about this last week, remember? And watching season 1, I said so much happened, right? And I'm starting season 4 today. Okay, so you're right. Going through season 2, it felt like a long ass season 3 in 1, right? It just kind of ran a lot together. But talk about where we left off at in season 1 and where we get picked up at in season 2, shall you?
All right, so in season 1, Lucas, the sir, I can't take accountability, so let me leave town. He's in, I forgot, where did they move? It was
They were
Charleston?
to Charleston, South Carolina?
I
Yes.
think, because Keith got a job there.
Yeah.
Keith also was captain. I don't want to take accountability. Let me move because someone denied me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sorry. Doesn't Peyton do that too? Just saying. Just saying.
Wow, this is season 5. You're jumping the.
I'm sorry. I everybody leaves. That's her motto, right? I'm sorry.
This is crazy.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Anyways, so basically they're over there, and then we find out that, well, we didn't find out. We found out last season. Dan had a heart attack, and so Keith.
Faker.
Right. Keith and Lucas are basically like, what are the pros and cons of going back? And I'm just like, why did y'all leave in the first place? Like, honestly, this is such a waste of time. You bought a whole place for what? Stupid. Brooke and Peyton are rekindling their friendship. Oh yes, Haley and Nathan are in a really good spot. This is a really good time for them right now because they just got married. They're happy. He took her virginity. She has.
You say that so nonchalantly. Just he popped the cherry.
She has a tacky 23 tattoo on her tail.
Tacky? Come on now. And this time, the tramp stamp was the ideal to what a woman showed to be sexy.
I don't like those. I don't like
them.
No
offense to Mrs. Knoxxx. Okay. Before they were called tramp stamps. She has one because my nickname was the Heartbreak Kid. So she has the heart.
That was your nickname? Oh, yeah, that's so cool.
It was. I was known as the Heartbreak Kid. So she has that with the shine, because I call her my sunshine, like sunshine. And that's in her lower region. So it depends on the tattoo.
Okay, it depends on the tattoo, but
she had it like in the small of her back, and I thought it was sexy. I thought it was sexy.
Colors of his basketball team on this.
Well, it's still her school. That's her basketball team too. She's a cheerleader.
She didn't even like them that much.
No, she didn't.
She just loved Nathan. But yeah, that's what we leave off. Basically, what are your thoughts on like where we're starting off on this?
Well, like you said, season 1 was a lot. I thought season 2, it just, as you say, I'll have to admit with you on this one, a lot of stuff took place in this episode, right? So, seeing them trying to rekindle their friendship, not read the letter that Lucas presented to them at that time, which I thought was crazy that they didn't read the letter. They're out being best friends, right? Because that's what they are. They're best friends. And as what best friends do, they're out, on boats, skinny dipping and stuff on Brooke's father's boat, right? So they're out there living their life because there's no Lucas in their life no more. They can be best friends again, right? Because best friends share everything except for boyfriends, right?
They shouldn't be sharing men, but I guess Brooke didn't get the memo.
Brooke did. See, we're starting this, and it's so unfair. Can we go through one show and be fair? Look at it. Have I told you lately? You're my best friend.
Hey, that's season 3.
Well, they say it every season. Have I told you you're my best friend? Well, that picture may be from season 3. Yes. Okay. God. police Nazi of the photos of the seasons. It's okay. I'm here. I'm here for this is her favorite show, by the way. Mr. Executive Consultant, who always has something to say. Don't come for us unless we call for you because your arms are too short to box with God. But go ahead.
Oh my God, not the.
You had to give him the CM Punk line. I mean, who, if not for Punk, but for who? All right. So, but no, actually, I thought season two. Actually, I can't lie and say I didn't like season two. I loved every season I've ever watched of One Tree Hill, and I thought, well, that's a lie. We talk about those other seasons later that I didn't love so much.
Yeah,
But these first five seasons, I thought were some of the best television of this genre of TV that had come out. And so, even like you said, getting into the first episode of the season, what's it called? The Desperate Kingdom of Love.
Yes,
it was called. All right. So your takes on the season premiere of season two. Remember, so now you're not in a pilot season. You got greenlit for season two.
Yeah. Well, I like Lucas's hair. I'm not gonna lie. I love that hairdo. I just love it. I think it looks
short. Is that Lucas short hairdo?
Yes.
Like I know this is a little earlier in the picture, but they go to hairdo right there.
I love short hair Lucas. He's such a look. Such a look. Wow.
You know, go ahead. I'm not gonna speak on
that.
I
wasn't gonna say nothing. You go.
No, I was gonna say. Look, I mean, you could tell right there in this picture he can't play basketball.
I'm crying.
That's all I'm saying. Go.
Constant attacks on his basketball skills. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Lucas's hair. I felt like this. I don't even know what Brooke and Peyton were doing. They were kind of just existing, and then Lucas, it I don't know why Brooke got mad at Peyton because she didn't want to read the letter. She just wanted to move on, but Brooke was not at a point where she wanted to move on, so she was upset about it, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. But whatever, girl. Live your truth. That's it.
Okay, I was just curious, but you at this point you did see, that he woke up. They couldn't believe, they actually, Nathan and Haley got married. Right. And at this point of the show and of the seasons, they're happily in love. And you really can't tell them nothing else than that at this point. Right. Like, here go a guy you thought was a jerk, probably still think is a jerk. Right. But somehow was able to land this girl, right? Or she changed him, if you will, right? From who he was to who he becomes, right? And it has a lot to do with his the character art of Nathan, to me, really mostly starts here, right? In season two. And I think this is where he's no longer, at this point, he's emancipated. Again, a lot happens in season one, right? So he's emancipated. So he doesn't need his parents' permission to get married or do anything like that. She needs her parents' permission, right? Which we saw in these flashbacks in this episode. But they go off, they get married, and this is where the show actually really starts to actually kick up and take steam. Where you go with this one from there?
I'd like to say I really love Haley's parents. I think they're so, fun-loving and, just chill. I just wanted to say I really loved her parents. I thought that they were a really cool vibe, and I wish that they were on the show a little bit more because I feel like you need more, because I feel like most of the parents on the show are so toxic. I'm like, oh my goodness, can we get a good parent that's funny?
Other than Karen, because I know we're fast forwarding, but listening to Karen go into Dan's office and tell him and dump the stuff on the desk, and we'll talk about that later. Remember that episode? I know you do. Karen delivered that with so much velocity and vigor of hating Dan at this point. So I thought Karen was like the only good parent on the show. Like her father, speaking of Peyton, was the worst parent ever, in my opinion. That's why, we'll see in other episodes why he can't have too much power. But just for you again, there you go. There you go. That's the episode starts off literally like this, right? With him playing music and dreaming about, pretty girl and girl with the, emotional issues.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about the song he was playing.
And I was thinking about how emotionally unstable Peyton is.
Yes, very much so. I can't argue with that. Listen, she has a lot of trauma, and she's
just a little.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, but this, I do like Haley's parents, and oh my God, Deb was so annoying this entire episode. I'm like, girl, Shut up. You are a mess.
She had every right to respond this way, right? I thought Deb did. Nanny Deb, first of all, Nanny Deb is a gift. All right. All right. Y'all know what a gift is. Like a MILF, but with a G, because she's going up, she's, you know, I mean, she's like a grandma. So, you know, at some point, but she's a MILF to a grandma. Deb had it going on. Dan definitely upgraded from Karen Rowe, in my opinion. Getting into Deb. Deb parents had money. Deb has body. Okay, which at this point, you got to think back on TV, they didn't really show off women's curves too much. They were very, you know, that's what makes Pamela Anderson so famous. This is what makes Marilyn Monroe was so popular, because not just she was beautiful, but she had body, which most, for what it's worth, Caucasian women's back in their early days, and they just wasn't built like they were just hard to find like that. That's how you know they're putting steroids in the food. They're putting steroids in the food because, you know, yeah, there it is. I'm gonna stop my global lesson right there. But no, she had it right. So she wakes up. She Dan's having a heart attack, right? She goes and she's probably why his heart's having worse problems, because she didn't dial 911 right away. So then she's in there. Somebody will come home. You know, where you at, Nathan? Dad has a heart attack, and she goes, "Oh, I got you, Mrs. Scott." And she fills the ring, and she's like, "Yeah, you're the damn reason why my husband's in here in the first place." So that's how I feel about. Look at that. Look at that
ridiculous face. Because Deb saying that is absurd, because she know the real reason was because he saw her getting busy with Keith.
Facts.
So, girl, you was projecting like a mother. You was projecting. I didn't like that, because I'm like, girl, you know the real reason. And then you was sitting there not even trying to call them. You was gonna let him die for a little minute. So you just want to be mad at somebody, and Haley is your target.
That was the facts of the matter in that one. But overall, I thought that episode was amazing. I'm not going to lie to you in that. I love that episode, actually.
Especially the closing with the music they were playing, Lie in the Sound by the Pastors William. Such a good song.
I want to change my background because I own all of these, by the way. And I'm not afraid to admit it. And it's still Mike Knoxxx with 3 X's, because I'm hardcore enough to know that I'm going to say the stuff and watch the stuff you guys ain't hard enough and safe enough to say you got. So, boom. Real thugs watch One Tree Hill. Holla at me.
Tree Hill, okay? You have to be hard to watch One Tree Hill, okay? There are some very tough episodes, okay?
From the streets of Tree Hill, Carolina. You don't know. We'll take your car, make you strip, and walk home. What? And take your girlfriend's friend.
I'll send Nanny Carey to your house. How about that?
Not Nanny Carey. All right, that's in some seasons to go. We'll talk about her crazy ass later. Nanny Carey was sexy, though.
She was beautiful.
She was sexy. All right. So what's next in this season that you want to talk about?
All right.
That gets us to this
next episode that I wanted to kind of focus in on was I Will Dare. That was a very interesting
Dare night.
episode. Yes, I loved it. I thought it was very cool. It kind of brought everyone in. You had more with skills, Fergie.
Yeah, dog.
They didn't have the other one. I forgot.
Yeah, dog.
Ferg. Yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about this episode.
And this for those who don't know what that is, we're talking about the introduction of Felix at this point in time. Hannah, his sister, we find out later, is not to be known yet. But Felix is the worst thing to come to Tree Hill since Nathan changed. I figured I had to get a villain for season 2 since Nathan was no longer a villain.
Yep.
As Nathan was the first season in the teen age group. And here come this rich guy, new town. I'm taking up this. What you're seeing right here is Brooke. He took Brooke's parking space after the night before. Brooke catches him in the pool. She thinks he's the pool boy. She automatically makes an assumption, which is a very racist assumption, by the way, that because he's of Latin descent, that she works for them somehow. And he goes along and plays along. Goes, yeah, I'm this poor pool boy. But come to find out, he's the rich kid who just moved in next door, and his pool is bigger than yours. Not better, as they both say later on, but bigger. And they lead us into Dare Night because Felix can't fit in. Felix can't he's a new guy trying to come hang out with the most popular people in school. And then lo and behold, he comes up with this thing called Dare Night. I actually love this episode. Yeah. As a matter of fact, a lot happens in this episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to touch on the whole Brooke thing, and sometimes she says things that are just so offensive, and I'm just like,
here we go.
I'm just saying, I didn't like that. That was not the best thing for me. And I think this was a humbling season for Brooke, with everything that transpired with her parents and money. This was a humbling for Brooke this season. Mm-hmm. I didn't like Felix at all. I thought he was awful. Just an awful person. Just terrible. Literally.
The character of Felix was annoying as HE double hockey sticks.
He was cute though. You know, he dated Kim Kardashian, the actor. I'm just
Are
saying.
you serious? All right. Well, that don't mean he got to be cute. That just means he got to be. She thought he had money because you know that Kardashian's curse
Yeah,
is
this
spelled.
was before Kim
Is
was
that,
Kim. This is
yeah.
when Kim was still Paris Hilton's assistant.
Okay.
But yeah, that and also I felt like Nathan and Haley, they were still cute. I don't think they were having like that many issues. I thought Tim was like why are you here? That's how I felt about Tim.
Well, I think they kept him away. I mean, here because Nathan, he was Nathan's best friend introduction, right? So he was the flunky to Nathan. He was the guy. Nathan's the big guy on campus. He'd go to little roadie of a friend who does what I say and do. And I think that's why they kept him around. So Tim's here because of Nathan's being here. But this date night, he got all kind of dares. Like, and all this was set up. And I give Felix this much credit, though. He wanted Brooke. He said, hey, Mouth, who's the people here to date? Who's up for grabs? Mouth, according to you guys, hiding the truth for how he felt about Brooke at the time. He had no chance with Brooke, by the way. So he's supposed to hide that kind of shit, right? So he says, I'm gonna get a date with her. And that's how he comes to the date. He sends everybody else on these crazy dares while he sets all this stuff up. Actually, it was actually pretty romantic. Like, we're gonna play Dine and Ditch after you don't even know I paid for it though. Let's just see if you got the ovaries to walk out of this restaurant.
To go.
Well, I would say intertesticular, but she don't have no testiculars.
It's mental. What can I say?
Okay, all right. Well, that's like when girls say "S my D." Like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Remy Ma. You can't say that. You can't be. Well, her new song she clearly says that. Like, New York women, that's y'all thing. Y'all will tell a man, hey, when y'all better S my D, you don't have one.
I'm more.
Well, I look like saying S my P.
See, I would say eat a D.
Eat a D. Okay, I can accept that one. That's acceptable. But to say suck mine? Come on now. You don't have one. You don't stand up to pee, and if you do, it's gonna run down your leg.
Oh my God.
Well, it would. I mean, unless you got an oversized, clitoral area, you might get pointed out.
I also wanted to touch on. There was a scene, and I posted about it on my Instagram the other day. In here with Peyton. It was the dare that she had to do. She had to tell the priest about some ugly thing she does with dogs or whatever the said. And she used that time to kind of really speak about the pain she was feeling about her mom and how she missed her. And I also want to say, I think that Peyton was triggered because of the stuff with Jake and Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was triggering for her because you have Jake, who's this great dad, taking care.
The other guy she loved.
Yes.
Okay, just check.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. So you have Jake who's taking care, of his daughter, and then you have the mother, Nikki, who was just terrible, wasn't there for her. And I feel like that was triggering for Peyton because it's like, I wish I had my mother, I feel like that's a deep thing that, like, I just feel like that was the reason why she was so off. I feel like the whole thing with Jake and Jenny was really triggering. Listen, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I just think that was very deep, and I loved what she said. Peyton was so in tune with her emotions. Like,
did you hear my violin? I was giving her music. I wasn't gonna give her flowers, but I was giving her music. You can't give her. You don't hear that? Shh, listen close enough. That's not only the world's smallest violin. This is a small violin to little people too. So that's like a tiny, 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 like tiny spoons worth of music being played for that right there.
This is crazy.
Okay. Because she confesses to a priest, that means you can steal your best friend's boyfriend. What
does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I just can't wait to get to season 3 so we can actually fully go in on this dynamic.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm prepared.
You think you're ready, but you have no idea. Okay. But no, overall, I love this episode. And like I said, we're introduced to, on Lucas's dare, he has to wear a bra into the store and then return it. I tried to get the picture. I thought I had it. I don't know where it is. I'm just tired of looking at this point. And he returns the bra. Matter of fact, I'm going to find it. All right. Lucas returns the bra and has the girl take a picture. But after you go like, yo, they got them old school camera phones right there, right? Like they got the little, the little Sprint PCS phones right there.
I thought that was a cute dare for sure. Lucas had a lot of really, really good dares. And then he had the whole where he did the photo booth, and that's where we meet Anna. He gives her a kiss for that.
I got it right here. I got it right here. I had to find it because it's funny because this is true dare stuff,
Yeah.
right? When you're doing things like this is a dare. You know what I mean? You the people in the store looked at him like he was crazy. Okay, and he turns it, and then she goes, "What's the problem? I got to ask you why." He goes, "It wasn't my size." All right, and then we get to meet the beautiful Hannah.
Yes.
Oh yes, look at that jawline. My wife always says, "Man, you like the girls in jawlines. That's why you like."
Right.
She says all the time, "What's the girl Rosario Dawson? Go look at you. You like them jaws. She got that Rosario Dawson jaw,
I'm
like
so
you know." And what's my girl from Hitch? Erica Mendez, right? Or yeah, something Mendez. I said Erica.
Oh, Eva Mendes. Yeah.
Eva Mendez, right? She got that same jawline. I don't care. Look at that. Look at that girl face. Look at them eyes. Look at them bushy eyebrows. Look like a werewolf.
I just love the link.
I'm sorry. I'm howling for Hannah right there. But all that happens, and truth be told, as I shared the picture earlier, when they come back from their night, this is the girls' team thinking they won because they did, but Lucas had the winning picture. Lucas could have won, but Lucas is not the slime ball that people think that he is and how he is, because he could have showed this picture. He met a girl, did some dares. He met Hannah. They take a picture. She shows her boobies in the photo booth, but he doesn't show that to win the day by kissing a stranger is one of the rules in there. But right. I thought this episode was great and funny, and this showed teen stuff to me. Yeah. Rich teen people's like, I'm not, I ain't from an area like that. You're in a graveyard with, all that stuff. The stuff I wouldn't, No. I didn't have friends like that in high school. My friends was like, yeah, I bet you won't rob this liquor store. No, I will not rob this liquor store. So, but I did get caught stealing baseball cards, one from Woolworth. So that was embarrassing to get caught stealing baseball cards. Like, that's not. I got my ass whooped in the police station for stealing baseball cards.
Everyone has a hustle.
It wasn't a hustle. It was just because my friend said I wanted cards. He had cards, and I wanted to get some more cards. I like collecting baseball cards. So I don't know. I got problems. But go ahead. Moving on from this episode.
So we move on from I Will Dare to another episode I really, really liked. That was The Trick is to Keep Breathing. We have the, I forgot, it was like a formal. Which one it was.
Is that this one?
It was this. Yes, it was.
Okay, look at that being prepared, because you got prepared to tell me what we're going to talk about. And I went searching deep into the crevice of the One Tree Hill vault of pictures. And you see his face is mad. Tell him why he's mad, son.
He was mad because Haley did not disclose to him that she was still working with. Now, let me talk about this. This really irritated me. Haley did not disclose that she was.
I know what's coming.
Yes. Haley did not disclose that she was still communicating with Chris. Now, I don't understand why Nathan made it such a big deal, because in the beginning, Haley had no sexual. It was nothing like that with Chris. It really what in the beginning, it really wasn't that.
In the beginning, no, but it grew.
Because Nathan kept making it a big deal. Like, he was making it more.
Look at this guy. Come on. Really? Now, all the guys who say it's cute, and listen, I'm a heterosexual guy. All right, so when I look at certain guys, I'm like, okay, I see why he gets the girls. I never saw why Chris Keller got these girls.
He did.
It's a complete musician thing. I'm not a musician, so I can't relate. But musicians get a different cred of Uchi, Wally Wally, Shawali Bang Bang, if you will.
Not good.
I'm trying to be PG-14 here.
Uchi Wally Wally.
All right, you're a New Yorker. You know what Uchi Wally Wally is.
Oh, I do. That's what I got.
Now, our One Tree Hill audience may know what that is. So read between the lines. Y'all know what Uchi Wally Wally, Bang Bang means.
My whole thing is, they both were wrong in their own ways. But I feel like Nathan made a big deal about it. He was being super insecure, I feel, because in the beginning, it wasn't even that. It was just totally music. And Nathan's like, you don't need him for this and that. I'm like, yes, she does, because Chris is the one paying for the studio sessions. Do you have any money, Mr. Emancipated? No, you don't. How you going to get me in the studio? Be quiet.
You picking on my man because he broke.
He was being insecure, and he made the whole situation with Chris way worse than it needs to be. Like, it was not that big of a deal. Because he kept pressuring and making it a big deal, that's when Haley started, her mind was opening, like, oh, do I have feelings for Chris? Because she wasn't even thinking like that. Nathan just needed to chill out. But she was wrong for not disclosing to him that she still was working with him when she said that she wouldn't. She should have been honest and said, like, I didn't like the whole, he was doing a lot of ultimatums, and I didn't like that from Nathan. That's the only thing.
And I'll speak on the other side of that. I think he had a right to have those ultimatums, because Haley, who was becoming a different person, you go back to the party, right? That was season 1, right? I can't, I'm not good for seasons. When she had the house party, and that's when, okay. So you
Yeah.
go back to that part. I think we talked about that last week as well. And the fight happened. We didn't talk about the fight, but the fight breaks out. But he says to her, like, hey, you're popular now, right? So it comes to the territory. And to me, like Lucas, in a sense, she could not handle the popularity. She didn't know how to handle the popularity. So here I am, still the most popular guy in town, right? Even though I'm emancipated and I'm too proud to beg for my father's money, right? He's not broke, right? And he makes things happen for a high school star basketball player with no money who's emancipated. He made things happen.
He did.
So I think he had a right to, here go my wife hanging with some guy who is openly telling me I'm gonna bang your girl. He's open. Chris is telling him, like, yo, she's hot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's like, you ever watch the Boondocks?
Yes.
It's like, what was the next door neighbor's name?
Tom.
Tom, when Tom lost his girl to Usher. And he said, I could see if you lost your girl to Usher. I mean, to T.I., damn. But you lost your girl to Usher? It's like, I can see you losing your girl to, like, Method Man. All right. Or maybe even, John Bon Jovi for your older people. But to Chris Keller? Chris freaking Keller? Like them Jonas Brothers? Okay, they might can take a girl from somebody. But Chris Keller?
Like 2 of them, yeah.
So I thought Nathan had a right to be that way. And at this time, it's like the formal prom, whatever the hell it's called at this time, right? They're only sophomores and shit, right? Or juniors.
It was like a formal. It was
a formal. But she wins formal queen. And of course, he's going to win king. He's Nathan Scott. And he does all these things. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying not to drink. He's trying to respect her wishes of changing. And listen, guys, I'll be honest with you. I went through a phase where my wife got churchy on me and would come home and be like, you can't smoke. Not at my house. You better go outside. I'm like, I'm a grown-ass man who pays the rent. So he sets all this stuff up, the carriage ride, everything. She's super duper late, right? It's not just Chris's fault she's late because Chris unplugs the clock. She was late herself. She shouldn't have went to this event. And she does go. So I thought Nathan had every right from this point on when he starts acting an ass to act an ass.
From that point on when she was like starting to keep secrets, absolutely. I feel like in the beginning he made it too hot though. But as
too hot to handle, too cold to hold. They call the Ghostbusters and we're in control.
As things started to progress, he definitely had a reason to like. Haley just was like doing, and you know what? I also want to point out about this episode, how disgusting of a person Felix is. I'm bringing it up again because he said some very offensive and rude, unnecessary things to Peyton.
Oh, to Peyton at this point. Okay, I wasn't sure if this was the one we were at, but I got some pictures of that, more pictures from that event. Because that was the dress event, right? This is when the dress gets spilled, the wine gets spilled, if I'm correct, on Peyton's dress. Okay, go ahead.
I just feel like Felix's internalized homophobia that he had
from his sister.
For his sister, and whenever there would be a girl around her, he would have this rage. And I think he was also jealous of Peyton because of the relationship she had with Brooke. Like he wanted Brooke completely to himself. So toxic. He was so toxic. He's just said a lot of rude things to Peyton. Peyton said, "Oh, Anna looks beautiful," and then he said something offensive to Peyton about, "Oh, you know what he said." And I just felt like, this guy really sucks. And how is Brooke not seeing this? Is she like blissfully ignorant?
Well, I think she was definitely blissfully innocent in the word you use. Because, again, this is why I'm not so hard on characters as others. I look at Michael Rainey Jr., who plays a character on the TV show Power. And he was getting death threats for a role that he's acting out. Right? So I look at Brooke and I go, her character was just ditzy, needy. Right? Needy high school girl who was rich, spoiled, and used sexuality to get what she wanted, and then learn later on that sexuality is not going to get her what she really wants, because what she really wants is love.
Right.
So, but at this point, she's getting attention from this guy. Right? This is where you come involved as being a Peyton fan. You were like, yo, how could you not see? And you're right. I'm watching it with you. I think we're always been debating this as we met about these two. But I'm watching this episode and I'm looking like, damn, Brooke, you can't see how he's being a dick to Peyton because you're so, in the words of, it's not my word, but, you girls have this, those who are like this anyway, you happen to get dickmatized.
Yes, absolutely. She was definitely that. Even the time when Peyton came into her room and she was crying, and
Episode you always pick out.
then Peyton just goes, "Oh no, I'm fine," because Felix walks in the room
Came
and Brooke
out the
goes, "Are
shower,
you
yeah.
sure?" Here comes Miss Brooke with her, "Are you sure?" It's like, girl, you already know the answer. You're always asking, "Are you sure?" when you already know. The girl is clearly crying, bawling her eyes in front of you. She's clearly not sure. She's clearly upset. And you're choosing to not really dig into deep because you're ready to get your time.
But
You're ready
everything makes Peyton cry. I mean, that made Peyton cry.
That was her mom's dress, okay?
Doesn't matter.
That was
You shouldn't have wore the motherfucking dress. Excuse me. She shouldn't have worn the dress. It's a high school party. It's a high school after party with drinking. Huh?
It was a formal.
That wasn't the formal. This was at the after party.
They all wore their dresses.
I'm just saying, you have to expect. Guess what? When I was in high school, which was way before you, right? Way before you, they wore their stuff to the prom, and in the after prom, they changed their damn clothes.
Okay, well, in this show, they
never
all
did.
stayed in the same outfit. So, I mean,
and that's what happened to her mama dress. Red wine.
Yes,
and she just starts crying like the little softie that she is. Only thing I like soft is my ice cream.
But
and my mashed potatoes.
We love Payne for that because she's our emo queen. Emo queen. I'm sorry.
Are you Summers? Are you?
And then freaking you have, oh my God, Mouth McFadden.
Uh-oh. Here go her rant, y'all. And this is where I bid you adieu. Okay, go ahead, get your little rant. I'm gonna find your picture. There it is.
Mr. Mouth, who I can't stand men like this. Oh, because you like her. Suddenly she's supposed to just not deal with any other men. You like her. She doesn't like you. You throw a brick through her car window because she's dating someone that isn't you? That is toxic. That is very toxic, Mouth. And why does everyone always say Mouth is such a nice guy? Nice guys don't throw bricks through people's windows when they don't want to date them. That's it.
That's it. It wasn't because it was not just because she didn't want to date him. Okay, and I'm gonna put things in perspective just a tiny bit further than you are, because as always, you have an agendas, and your agendas should be met by agendas. Why
is he throwing bricks through people's windows?
His feelings was hurt. Okay, he does all these things for her, right? She uses him. Like everybody besides Lucas.
Well, yeah, Brooke does use people. Brooke does use people. That's true.
Okay, and she uses it as, hey, there's another thing I don't like about women. Y'all have this whole jokey thing, right? Well, girls mature faster than guys, right? Yes. All that kind of mumbo jumbo, humbo dumbo stuff, right? Okay. So that means you should know that this guy is feeling you. Right? So if you know this guy is feeling you, then that meant you knew what you were doing and that you would eventually hurt his feelings. And so later on, he's doing all these things for her, right? He's thinking, because in a way, to a nerd, right? Like Mouth McFadden at this point, he's thinking the way you're treating me, the way you're hanging out with me, the way you're telling me you're hugging on me, and girls would be crazy not to be with me, that you have some kind of interest. She knew she had no interest in Mouth McFadden. I mean, with all due respect towards Mouth McFadden, a.k.a. Minkus, look at him.
He should have been honest as well, because he didn't speak up on the fact that he was the one that got that dollhouse and
he should have spoke up. But Felix intimidated him. Felix the big bully. And Phoenix was a bully. So yeah, I wake up after doing all this shit for you and you think somebody else? Fuck your car. Brick through the window. Boom.
That is just so toxic, and I feel like there are just better ways to deal with that situation than a car note. Like, now you got Lucas doing extra work. So she had all the men working in some way, because now Lucas sitting having to fix the damn car.
If we're gonna talk about somebody being a bad person or someone lost in the sauce, it's definitely Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? This was, I'm gonna let you talk, but then I have something to say about Lucas for this.
No, I was gonna say the way he goes back and forth, and this continues through multiple seasons, and which is gonna be it started this season off, honestly, with the letter. With them at the beach, when he walks up at the end of the first episode at the bonfire, finding out these girls did not read the letter. We don't really know what was ever in the letter, right? So then we move on. At this point, Lucas is still playing both sides. He's trying to be everybody's friend. At this time, at this episode, he's dating Hannah, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, but yet here go Peyton, Brooke, whoever needs them, and Lucas is there to help him out. And as a guy who's been with women, and as a guy who's trying to be progressive as an adult,
Yeah.
right? They're not adults; they're kids.
Very much.
As kids, you cannot be saying sex. I mean, you cannot have a friend of the opposite sex. It doesn't work that way when you're dating somebody. It's just you can say, "Okay, I don't care if you're friends with her," but in reality, the girl is saying, you cannot. If you slept with her, you cannot be your friend. If you were in love with her, you cannot be your friend. And these are the things that Lucas was involved with these two women. But go ahead, Captain.
So I feel like this whole season was Lucas his I'm a good guy. I feel really bad about last year because remember, he still hasn't taken accountability for what happened last year. It was more so him like, let me leave town. And then he ends up coming back because Dan has a heart attack. And I feel like this whole season was Lucas trying to build back up his I'm a good guy image.
It was.
It was. And that's why I feel like he went towards Brooke because I feel like he felt like he wronged her the most from last year.
He did.
He did, absolutely. So he chose this as a let me try to fix things with her. I don't really feel like it was like he was like really in love with Brooke on that level. I feel like it was the good guy feeling in him and him wanting to right his wrongs. I feel like that was a strong motivation for why he decided to rekindle things with Brooke. I'm not saying there wasn't feelings there at all.
No. At this point, he's definitely starting to think that he's back in love with her. And as a viewer, that's where even I have to say, and I like, I'm so used to be on the other side. I like what you had to say there, as far as, him not knowing and him probably feeling bad because he does go from not, wanting Peyton to that situation didn't happen because of the emotions of whatever, throw the blame everyone to go. She goes off with Jake. At this point, he's alone. He's trying to fix these things, right? And he did wrong her because that was technically his girlfriend when he almost cheated on her with her best friend. So I think maybe there might have been some misled feelings at this point. I don't think that he never did not love Brooke.
Yeah, no, me either.
But I will, as a Brooke fan, I have to say that even I kind of knew that he was still always in love with.
The breath.
I mean, just look at him for heaven's sakes. I mean, I guess that's wrong to say who you would pick. That's a good picture of Peyton. I can't lie. I didn't pick a bad picture of Peyton.
They're both gorgeous women.
They are, but I just look at her. It's just I don't know. And I love blondes. I love blondes, but I don't like this one. I don't like that blonde. But moving on into the episodes of the season.
All right, yes. And then also we have Nathan. So from that, after that episode, Nathan decides that he's gonna sleep at Lucas's. Because he didn't want to go back because he was upset with Haley because Haley tried to. I didn't like what she said. She said something to Nathan like, "Oh, if you're jealous because my dreams are coming true, yada yada." And he was like, "Girl, go look at my drawer. Like, I could have been left and went to High Flyers. Like, don't talk to me like you're doing big stuff. Like, don't try to like make me seem like I'm jealous of you." And I'm glad that he put her in her place about that because she really tried to like, "Oh, if you're jealous," I'm like, Miss Girl, calm yourself. Calm yourself. But the next episode was the hero dies in this one. This was a Nathan-centric episode for the most part. This was Chris Keller. He came back to town after he kissed Haley at the train station, which Jake saw because Jake had returned.
Because your girl Peyton was finna get back into that booger sugar.
She was. Oh man,
she was all in the booger sugar, trying to get some books and some bands and some dates. And I'll be honest and fair and back off her for this. A lot of people fall victim to drugs when they're depressed and they feel like they have nobody to talk to. And truthfully, being fair, like on the outside watching the show again, no one was really there for Peyton. Lucas wasn't there. Brooke wasn't there because no one ever really sat down to ask her what's really bothering her. I think the only one who actually spoke to her on that kind of level was Jake and was Karen, Lucas's mother.
Right.
So, but go ahead.
So we have that. And see, now here's the thing that really pisses me off about
Haley. I know I got pictures from that. I just can't find them. I don't know which one.
It's so many. So here's the thing that really pissed me off about, it didn't piss me off, but I thought it was funny. When Haley saw that Lucas and Peyton had kissed, and the previous season, she was so judgmental, like, so, oh my God, all this and that. The way she came at even Peyton and Lucas was so like accusatory.
Say it again. Oh my God. That's what they
But then when Jake tells Peyton that he saw Chris Keller kissing Haley,
she gets
and came to her so kind. She was like, "Hey girl, what's going on with you? What's up? Like, I heard this. Are you good? Like, what's going on, girl? Don't do that." She was so reasonable and not judgmental. And that's what I love with Peyton. She's never a judgmental person.
I'm sorry, what? Is that not the lie of all the Peyton's not judgmental? Did we not go further into this episode and how she berates Haley?
She didn't.
For how she was treating Haley when further in the episode in the season when Haley leaves,
season 3,
goes on the road.
But that was different, and that was different reasons.
But it's still judgment. It's still judging.
You're jumping the gun. We're talking about season 2 right now. Peyton was.
Is that season 3 too? I told you season 2 and 3 run so close to being the same storyline. I do get confused. Okay.
That was season 3. Look it, you will have your moment, and I will give it to you in season 3.
Just tell me when it's that time.
I will tell you. I will tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
But for this one, Peyton was so reasonable. She said, "Girl, what's going on with you? Hey, are you good?" She was so like, "Girl, I don't want something to happen to you and Nathan's, marriage. So work on that." Love that. Chef's kiss, Peyton. Thank you. And Haley was just lying the whole episode. She blamed the emails on her sister, got her sister kicked out on the
show. Listen, when she kicks sis out, first of all, by the way, Nathan knocks off the sister. The sister was Nathan's first. Okay. So that just showed you this is some 90210 shit right here. We're just all gonna have sex together. Okay. But damn, what's her name? Taylor, which is a sexy name, by the way, because later in episodes you'll see Taylor and Monroe with Lucas, and they're doing their Coyote Ugly. I mean, with Nathan doing their Coyote Ugly thing, and I'm sorry, I love Taylor. I loved everything about Taylor. I did. Because Taylor tried to help her sister, and you're right. You're right. This is when I started saying, "Damn, what happened to Tudor Girl? What happened to nice Haley, Miss Judgmentalness?" If that's not a word, but it is now. Made it up, but judging everybody so aggressive that Nathan does change who he is, because she's judging him so harshly on how he's acting. It was very different to see how the writers switched that so fast. Go ahead.
Right? Yeah, it was the same thing as you said earlier. Her and Lucas could not handle this new popularity, and it got to their heads, and it just completely changed them. And it was sad because I liked Haley so much. Mm-hmm. She had morals, and then all of a sudden, it just was like
she had morals. They just went out the window again.
I don't know. She started flipping. I'm like, but at the same time, I get that she wanted her dream, but it's like there's better ways to go about it. You lied this entire episode, and then you left your husband. You couldn't even say goodbye. You just dipped, took your stuff, left your bracelet, all dramatic,
for
like
this guy,
for this man, for this girl.
This guy.
But then also Nathan shouldn't have given another ultimatum. If you go live your dream, go on tour with Michelle Branch, which is a big opportunity at the time. Michelle Branch was very known.
The Wreckers, baby.
Yeah. If you go, then we're done. That was so bad, Nathan. Why did you do that? Like, I think if he would have talked to her, there was just really bad communication on both ends. Like, I was like, no, stop this.
I had that records picture. See, there's just too many pictures in this damn thing.
It is a lot of pictures. Listen, hey, but it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. I also want to talk about the fact that Brooke decided she randomly just wanted to be class president. Hey. She was like, I have no credentials whatsoever. I just want to, do something because, it's quirky. Let me just try something and forget all these people who've been working all year.
You are so wrong. Like, why can't you see the character development and Brooke trying to change who she is? She's trying to, at this point, to me, this was the changing of her character becoming class president, because it made her have other responsibilities of thinking about just parties, just cheerleading, just herself. She saw her being friends with Mouth and those things. You can go ahead, make the faces, but it changed. It was the changing arc in Brooke's character to me.
That's my agree face. Look, see.
Okay, all right. Well, I just proved. I mean, just look at her. Who wouldn't vote for Brooke?
No,
Shit, I'm
absolutely.
voting for Brooke. Matter of fact, later on, Brooke becomes a cop.
She's a now she's a doctor.
Now she's a doctor. She's winning.
She's all over the place.
Where's Peyton at these days?
What Peyton has? They have the podcast together with all the girls, the main characters.
I know.
Peyton also was just recently on The Walking Dead.
She was.
Also has the show where
people die on The Walking Dead though.
Yes. Oh my God. She also has the show where they were looking into cases where people were wrongfully put into prison.
What show that come on? What channel that come on?
I forgot.
Exactly.
I don't really watch TV. I watch more platform, but I think that's beautiful. I think Hillary as a human being is beautiful.
And you need to send me that damn podcast because I did not know.
Yeah, it's really good. Like
I'll definitely be watching that. But again, look at Brooke. And that's why he's kissing her all the time. I mean, I'm kissing that.
She's stunning. She's gorgeous. She's always been one of the most beautiful women to ever be on TV. Period.
So how can you diss her?
No.
Running for president.
Her character, not her appearance.
Right, but how can you diss her for running for? I'm talking about the character.
Because I just feel like, how do you just randomly decide one day, yeah, I'm gonna? And the way she even wrote her name on the paper, she took up 3 rows. It was just the white privilege of it all, just taking up 3 rows, and everybody else who want to sign up after.
I definitely always noticed that. Like, damn, yo, it's like 1, 1, 1. When she goes 3, Brooke Davis.
Literally, I'm like, it just annoys me.
But I thought that was Lucas and Mouse both influence on her that clearly.
And I love that too.
What's the boyfriend at this point? Felix didn't have
Felix was
for her. You know what I'm saying? So I love this about Brooke. I love this about Brooke's character. This is when I actually started to say, okay, there's more behind there's more behind the girl behind the red door than what we saw.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And I do think forever, like no matter what, with everything she went through with Lucas, you know how they say people come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime. I feel like Lucas was a reason because he instilled so much courage and self-confidence that she didn't have before she met him. So, even though they didn't work out in that way, he definitely was a positive influence on her life because it helped her grow as a human being. See, look at how nice I am. Look at how nice I'm being. Oh my gosh.
Move on. Before you say something negative about it, I'm not sure how much time I got left with you being nice to Brooke.
Now we have, and I love this episode, Lifetime Piling Up, where they do the switcheroo episode.
Boom.
Yes, I love this because when they always say how Chad Michael Murray actually tried out to be Nathan, and Nathan wanted to be Lucas. So I thought it was cute that they did the switch around. You never heard that?
No, I did. Every night, I always go. To me, like I said, knowing that they were looking to cast someone to actually play basketball for Nathan. Yeah, that's why he didn't get the part of Nathan.
Absolutely, but he was a good douchebag, though.
He played because most blondes on TV play the douchebag.
Yeah.
Right. So it was definitely good watching the reversal. Right. Yes. Watching the switch that goes on and that had happened in this time. I actually one of my favorite episodes. You know what I mean? Like going to the river court, playing the opposite game, right? And it, just the whole scenery was different. Like Karen's with his father. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Karen's with Dan at this time, and brilliant episode.
Very good. I loved it. But I think it all came down to, and even like the whole relationship with him and Haley was different because it was more romantic. When Lucas and Haley in the beginning, I never thought romantic with them, which I love because I hate when it's always like, oh, you see a girl and guy, they're friends, they have to date. I loved the dynamic between Lucas and Haley because it
actually just grew up being friends. Right. Despite the conspiracy theories that that's still his child later on in life. Go ahead.
But yeah, I really like this episode. I loved how everyone was in it. I feel like was Brooke even? She was kind of like half even in there because she wasn't really there. This was placing off of the pilot, which Brooke was not in. So
and the pilot at all. No matter what, she got IMDb credit for it though. Don't know why or how, but she's not in a single shot of episode 1, the pilot. Not a single shot.
No. But yeah, I really love this episode for what it was because it was like a what if. But also this was happening because the previous episode was with Nathan. He was dealing with the pain of Haley leaving him and him feeling like he really had no one. And that's when he crashed.
Oh,
And
that's an infamous episode.
mhm,
Go back on that if you can, because it introduces Cooper,
yes,
Nathan's uncle, who's a
yes,
race car driver at this time, who comes to town and gets them out of town because Nathan's going through it.
yep,
And I love the explanation. I've used this ever since I saw this episode, right? About they're on the test track, at a racetrack,
hmm,
and he goes head onto the wall. And the girl that he grew up with, who was a friend of the pit crew, says that, how does this happen? He's a
right,
natural athlete. A
right,
natural athlete's reaction would be to the tires would show he tried to get out the way.
right,
The tire markings, which is how they prove people who do things, went into that wall head on. Nathan tried to kill himself because the
right,
pain was too much for him and what Haley had did to him. You gotta understand, like, here go a kid who's a spoiled brat, who everything his father said, he knows his dad's a dick, he's a spoiled brat. Here go this girl who comes into his life. I won't say she talked him into being emancipated, but she definitely, laid the foundation to leave his parents,
right,
does all these things. She marries him and then leaves him.
right.
And at this point, Nathan's just a hot mess. Go ahead.
He's a mess, and he's dealing with the fact that his mom is also she's dealing with drugs now. His mom is, on pills, and then the father is just awful all around, always terrible, terrible, terrible dad. And then the one person that was his person, Haley, just leaves him.
You watch Grey's Anatomy too?
I do.
You said this person. That's why. Go ahead. That's a great
Yeah,
anatomy thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's too many seasons and too many episodes to review.
No, nobody has that type of time.
No.
But yeah, I felt so bad for him. But I also really loved the relationship between Lucas and him in this episode specifically. The way Lucas ran to that car, and you just got to think about all the history and everything Nathan did to him.
Mm-hmm.
The way Lucas ran to that car and pulled, like he,
Because he's brought up differently. Karen was a good mother. She didn't raise him to be hateful or spiteful. She raised him to be caring. This is why when he does do douchebaggish things, he still comes off as the good guy. Even in the writing and what you see, he's
right,
always still the good guy.
right,
When there's some times you're looking at Lucas like that's some bad guy things. You know
right.
what I mean? Like I said, you go back to even early in the season, the beach episode, right?
That's
No,
season
no,
three.
season 3. Shit, I keep skipping that season. Ignore me and ignore that last thing. I delete it
I
right
know
now.
immediately
Now
because
watch next week. I'll be mad I ain't got that picture up here. Go
I
ahead.
hated it because Peyton's hair was straight, and I know her
Okay.
hair was straight
See?
all season 3.
But
Yeah, finish.
no, if we just go back a little bit, because
Yeah.
I think we've already passed this part of the show. But you correct me if I'm wrong. We passed this part, right?
Woo!
I thought this was very interesting to talk about because we find out later on that Felix's sister and they had moved to the new town because Felix's sister was had rumors of being gay.
Right.
And this stood out to me because you just look at the different time we are then to we are now.
Right.
And she wears this shirt not because to be rueful or to be spiteful. So anyone who sees that, who saw that first, may not be the one thing. That's not what we're saying. If you know the show, we're referring to how Felix responded to her. Felix did some awful things to Peyton. He wrote on his wrote on her locker the word dyke. And we know now that's a very offensive word.
Very.
To say to that, to that genre of people.
Mhm.
And so she wears this in protest. And then the principal makes her take the shirt off. And she says, she spouts this, she quotes this guy about why, it's the message that's bigger than my clothes ordinance for school.
Right.
And I thought that was really big of Peyton. This is one of the times I actually said, okay, the crying, Peyton, needy girl outside of Brooke Davis to me has always really been a good friend.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a good friend to Brooke, but she was a very good friend and she stands up for this. And, this essentially leads to Felix leaving the show and Hannah coming out the closet to her parents. And
then Peyton tells Brooke.
Yeah.
Because she was trying not to. And that's why I say Peyton, and that's her problem. Peyton, a lot of times, she doesn't say things. She doesn't speak up because she's afraid
They're still high
to
schoolers.
mess things up for other people. Huh?
They're still high schoolers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I don't want to mess things up for you. I don't want to mess things up, so I don't speak. Girl, you got to speak up sometimes. The minute she told Brooke what happened, she dumped
Brooke
Felix.
went off. She went off. That's my best friend, and we don't get down like that. Okay,
period. I was like, period, Miss Brooke, period.
I didn't mean to go back, but I know we skipped that part of the episode.
You had to hit those.
And I want to hit that because I thought that show how fast Felix and Hannah came into the show and left the show.
I think because they had a negative, like a lot of people didn't like them. I don't think fans liked them a lot because it was like
I didn't see the need for Felix. To me, Felix would have been perfect with Rachel. We'll meet later in season 3.
yeah, oh yeah,
Right?
Rachel was the boy version of Felix, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as guys who I didn't watch Baywatch because of the suits, but I still watch TV for pretty women. So so that does keep you here. Like people ask me all the time, well, why you watch this show? Have you seen them?
I'm surprised.
So, but what we got next?
So next we have, you're at the last episode, the Leavers Dance.
Is that this?
This was after they had the New York episode where they went to go visit Haley, even though Nathan was very pissed at Lucas about this because, I mean, he wanted Lucas to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't understand what Nathan truly wanted from Lucas. Like, did he want him to just stop talking to Haley? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. But
he
you
did.
can't ask that of him because he's been friends with Haley forever.
You may have been my brother forever that I didn't know.
Right.
But she's been my best friend forever.
Yeah.
And I love her and I love you, but I cannot turn my back on Haley.
Exactly. I feel like Nathan, once Haley left, he started to become really irrational. He was depressed. He was dealing with a lot. He started to get really irrational with his requests to people.
He tried to kill himself.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, oh my God, can we talk about Karen going off?
It is our show. So yeah, we could talk about it.
Yeah, can we talk about Karen going off on Lucas because he didn't want to take the test for the heart condition?
Oh, listen, those episodes was funny. He was like, I'm not taking the test. And she's like, well, you can't have no music. You can't do this. You can't play basketball. You can't do nothing. And I mean, this is what you talked about earlier, and especially with TV parents and these kind of shows, right? Like, they wasn't that involved. Like, Brenda and Brandon's parents in Beverly Hills 90210 were involved, but no other parents really were involved. The Silvers weren't involved. So in this show, Karen's the one parent that's really heavily the disciplinarian in the program.
Right.
And no, Karen was not happy with that. Go ahead, because that was just some big moments we're missing there in season 2.
That was. And I feel like Karen was absolutely right. Lucas is being selfish. You could die at any moment on the field because you want to play, I said field, Jesus, on the court because you want to be a basketball player. You're not thinking about your mother. You're not thinking about all the people that love you.
Basketball. I'm sorry, I was getting my Bow Wow on and Curtis both at the same time.
Okay, all right, Mike. You say I like Mike. Okay, I'm saying. But basically, I just thought that was so selfish of Lucas. I'm like, Lucas, how can you not see that you're her only child? How can you not see why she would want you to know this information? And then you got Dan. Oh, let's talk about that. Mr. Oh, let me blackmail you into living with me. Scott. Mr. Dan blackmails Scott. I'll blackmail you into living with me. And poor Karen. Karen's heart was broken when he moved in with Dan because he didn't want him to say about the thing. Oh my God, the stuff with freaking Keith and Jules.
Oh, we got more to talk about. Keep going. It's gonna be an extended episode. Go right ahead.
That was that whole situation came to a head for the episode. Somewhere a clock is ticking. And Dan, like, I've never seen someone go to these lengths to get back at somebody. You hired a whole woman to marry your brother.
No, he hired her for her to make him fall in love with him.
But then she got to marriage. I'm like, Dan, really?
You knew Dan was a dick when you saw him on 90210. Okay, look at that douchebag haircut with Steve Sanders. Okay, 2 douches of the same pie right there. Like, literally, they were like the same fraternity and everything, right? So, I mean, Dan Scott's a douche. Go ahead.
I felt like that was so, like, dramatic. Like, I get it, okay? Because Keith is not innocent. He definitely slept with Deb. That was messed up. But I feel like Dan pushed him to that because Dan was awful to Keith all first. It was just like a tit for tat thing with these.
All this life thing was bad.
Yeah, it was like a tit for tat. It was back and forth, back and forth. It was almost like a parallel. It was the same thing going on with Dan and Keith that was going on with Lucas and Nathan. Just brothers fighting, tit for tatting. It was ridiculous.
But no, you spoke on how Dan, blackmails Lucas to come live with him because he's going to keep the secret. Because, right? So Dan lost one son. He figured maybe I can bribe the other one.
So
right?
sad.
So, Lucas don't want to tell nobody that he's getting, just the medicine from to keep him alive. And Dan's paying the medicine. Like you said, Karen's going off on him for this. They go to New York. You see Haley come back, which I never got why she came back all of a sudden.
I think it was because of something Lucas said to her, because he said Nathan is moving on for real, and that scared her.
Well, look at this picture here. He moved back home
Can we talk
with
about
mommy.
how gorgeous she looked in that scene when he opened the door? Like,
Listen. They ain't never. Only thing I have negative to say about Haley, the only thing, because she's just she's primo to me. Excuse me for being a little raunchy with this one. She has like this fever blister on her lip all the time. And it's just, every time I see, I go, "Did you get some?" There ain't no beauty mark. It better not be. Is it okay? Because it's like always. I've never seen a fever blister all the time. Like it's always there. That's not a moly. It's a fever blister.
not moly.
She has some bad cock in her mouth. I don't know.
Oh my God, you coming for Nathan? I bet it was your favorite. You coming for Nathan? But yeah, it was basically Lucas that made her come back, because, and they even touched on this in a later season about all the things, if Lucas didn't intervene, the negatives that would have happened. But that's season 4, so we're not going to get there. But I'm just saying, you muted yourself, sir. You're muted. Okay, please. You're on mute. You're muted.
I'm still muted all that time. I didn't know I muted myself. It's crazy. I thought I could hear myself, that you could hear me, right? Yeah. Right, but no. You just look at Haley, like you said, this time how she comes back. She's at this point, she's a full-blown rock star.
Yeah.
Okay, and she didn't tour with the record. She's toured with Michelle Blanche. They want her to be on her own tour,
right?
Because she's gotten so big and so good. Haley's that girl.
Yeah, and she had the stars go blue when the stars go blue. Yeah.
So, but finishing off season 2, amazing. I mean, it kept me going. Like I said, a lot happened, and there's so much we didn't even discuss. So, as we said last week, please go watch the season's over. They're on Hulu. Okay, right. I own them. Okay, watch them, catch up. Season 1. We're on season 3 next week, which is, to me,
that's one of the best season.
I want to say it's the best season of One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm inclined to agree with you.
And also, this is when most television shows actually hit their peak. Is by season 3. Season 1's that pilot. Season 2, they're working to see what works and what doesn't work. Like you said, with Felix and Hannah and them. But in season 3, it's full carte blanche on everything. And you're going to see where we have this debate about these best friends, and why we are on so different sides of the spectrum right here.
Yeah.
All right, because as Tony Stark said to as my guy Steve Rogers said to Tony Stark, he's my best friend. And as Tony said, well, he's my friend too. Okay. And you'll also get to understand the line.
Yep.
The line to me, which is most important in season 3, which is, and she's talking to Peyton, they're on the porch, and she's saying, the guy I'm in love with is in love with the girl that I love. And that's, to me, some of the most real. It's season 3 gets so deep, and I cannot wait to talk about it next week. Right. You can close us out with that.
Yes. So, leaving off in this season, we have Dan in a fire. We find out who did it next season, but Dan is in a fire. Lucas is looking suspicious. They made a point to make Lucas look suspicious as possible. But in my mind, I'm like, he's
not that kind of guy.
Exactly. I never really thought it was Lucas to begin with, even though they tried so hard to really make it seem that way, because it's just not even his character. No matter how bad he was, acting and certain things he was doing that were out of character, that's so far out of his character. Deb was wildin'. That's it. Nathan was finally going to High Flyers, getting his, chance. Haley returns. Brooke goes to, I think she goes to LA.
Well, behind the scenes, though, Lucas and Brooke gets married in real life for about 72 hours.
For a little bit. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Hot sex and ecstasy is what that was. Hot sex and ecstasy.
That was proximity crush. Proximity crush be messing these actors up so bad.
That's why I don't like Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yeah. Every time. She's like...
It's like, I love her, and it's like, damn, Brad, you You left Jennifer Aniston for which you can't knock them. Like they're
I
1 and
love
1A, like right. But then you go back to Jennifer Aniston after all these years.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
So
I
trifling.
guess he's the one really winning. Where'd it go, Brad Pitt?
Right. He's going back
Where'd
and
it
forth
go?
with baddies. Yeah. You know, I love Brad Pitt. He's one of my favorite actors. I love a lot of his movies. So I can't see too many bad things about him. Yeah, so that's where we're left off. Peyton, this is where, and you know, I love that they did this because this is like way, way ahead of time storytelling. She gets the messages from Watch Me, Watch You, which we find out in season 4 was Crazy Derek.
Oh, that's where that I didn't even
Yes,
peep that Easter. We'll talk about that next week. Oh
yes,
man,
we will.
I just realized that wow, I never put that together. I just always assumed
Yeah.
it was Lucas or
She
somebody.
said that she thought it was Ellie, her mother, who came
Yes, you're right. We thought it was Ellie.
but it wasn't. That was Crazy Derek.
Oh,
That was like way, way ahead
oh,
storytelling.
wait, yes.
Show.
Oh, nice, nice. See, how can you not watch One Tree Hill or watch us?
Yes.
Sorry, bad guy Jack. We're coming for the duo next year on UPR favorite couple host, whatever the hell the word is called. We want the award. Pay us now. Listen, Captain Shaykespeare. I'm Mike Knoxxx. We're UPRE Unpopular Review Entertainment, that is. Make sure you check out UPRE Wrestling. Make sure you check out Around the Blocks of Mike Knoxxx. Make sure every Tuesday you're checking out the beautiful Captain Shaykespeare here. Captain Shaykespeare, I'm sorry. And Captain Jack and the NXT review. We have, man, you listen, if you're there, we're there. Batman reviews, Stumble versus Louise reviews, Harry Potter reviews. We are doing everything because we love everything. And with that being said, we are out of here, y'all. Peace.